our crew members. We would never do anything to put anybody in harm's way.
Meanwhile, back in Washington,
we have loved our ashes, but we have beautiful memories. He was a wonderful father.
the family of Darren Tolsma came with just one goal.
It's been a 3-month nightmare, but our pain is what pulls us through so that we can make sure this doesn't happen to somebody else.
The Colgan Airlines says this was their first fatal accident in 29 years. Today, a company official acknowledged it's had other violations of that sterile cockpit rule in the last 3 months, and flight crews have been disciplined. By the way, Continental Airlines still uses Colgan for 173 daily Continental Connection flights. Brian, back to you.
What a terrible turn of events. Tom Costello with the story to start us off in Washington tonight. Tom, thanks. The shuttle Atlantis has been in space a little over 24 hours, and this is when they usually use a camera and look at the outside of the spacecraft to see if there's any damage from launch. Turns out there is some, and our veteran space correspondent Jay Barbary has had a look at the situation. He is with us tonight from the Cape with more. Jay, what do they have?
Well, Brian, it's not a showstopper yet, but it could be. Today, as you said, they went looking to see if any of their tiles had been damaged during their ascent into orbit, and they found 4 of them inside the right wing near the fuselage, where they had a trail of divots that run across 21 inches long. Now, these divots aren't believed to be deep enough to do any damage at this time, so the officials say they should be okay, but what they're going to do is have experts take measure them with lasers to make sure that they will be able to withstand the heat of reentry. Because what they are concerned about, as I have here in this tile, this is exactly what they have up there in the divots that are in it. They're concerned that the heat of reentry could erode this tile down to the point that it could overheat the spacecraft and damage the spacecraft as well as possibly killing the astronauts. Another thing that could happen, Brian, is it could erode to the point that they could lose flight stability.
It's an IHOP on Canal Street.
Coming back in.
Kidding me?
Right now, they think it's okay, but they want to
only imagine how expensive
But
it
if they
is.
do have to go up and get them, over my right shoulder is the shuttle Endeavour. 4 astronauts are standing by to go up and bring those 7 home if need be.
All right. Jay Barbary with the update tonight. Jay, who has covered every manned mission in space. Jay, we'll check back in with you if any changes. There's new information tonight about the shooting deaths of 5 U.S. soldiers at Camp Liberty. That's the American military base just outside Baghdad. The man accused of pulling the trigger, U.S. Army veteran of the Iraq War. He's now been charged with murder. We have the latest on the situation tonight from our Pentagon correspondent, Jim McLeshevsky.
The day after, the 5 American service members were shot down and killed at a combat stress center in Baghdad. U.S. military leaders were still in shock.
It's going to be tough. It's going to take a while to get through this.
The alleged shooter has been identified as a 44-year-old Army Sergeant John Russell, who's been formally charged with 5 counts of murder. The 5 killed include Navy Commander Charles Springle, a medical team social worker, and 4 others, including an Army psychologist and 3 enlisted soldiers. In laying out their case, military officials say Russell was on his 3rd deployment to Iraq when his commander ordered him to undergo psychological counseling. Russell's father in Sherman, Texas, said today his son was devastated.
He thought he was taking a ride. He thought he was doing some good. They told him that's it too.
After an altercation at the stress center, Russell was escorted away by an armed guard.
John took the gun with the guy and threw back. I don't know who he shot.
In fact, Russell was considered such a threat, his commander ordered him disarmed the week before the shootings.
Either by his actions or things he had said, there was concern that he should not have a weapon. And so the chain of command confiscated his weapon.
Veterans advocate Steve Robinson believes commanders should have taken even more drastic action.
That person needs to be moved towards specialized care, perhaps even evacuated if they're so dysfunctional that they can't keep their weapon.
With multiple deployments and rising combat stress, military leaders warn something's got to give.
We've got to change the culture in the Army. I think it's society that's seeking help for these problems is not a bad thing. It is exactly what we want folks to do.
Besides the criminal investigation, the military's launched a separate review to determine what, if anything, it did wrong and how to make sure it doesn't happen again. Jim McLeshevsky, NBC News, the Pentagon.
Quickly to the U.S. economy, more evidence of how hard the recession is hitting the federal budget. Social Security will start paying out more in benefits than it collects in taxes in 2016. That's 1 year sooner than the experts thought just a year ago. Medicare is doing even worse. Its trust fund will pay out more in benefits than it collects this year, and the date that it will be officially insolvent has now been moved forward 2 years to 2017. As you may know, the travel and tourism industry is hurting in this downturn. Their worst fear is that families will now cut back on summer vacations this year. But will that come true? There are new figures out tonight.
That's the World Trade Center.
CNBC's Trish Regan is with us with the summer travel forecast from her perch along the Jersey Turnpike. Trish, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. People are worried about the economy, and so fewer people are traveling. According to AAA, there could be as many as 20 million fewer trips this year, and that could cost the travel industry an estimated $30 billion in lost revenue. The summer vacation, some consider it an American tradition. With an economy in the midst of a recession, that tradition is becoming increasingly vulnerable.
Will the travel outlets try to limit our plans for the economy?
1/3 of Americans say they've already canceled at least one vacation this year. 42% are planning a summer trip, but that's down from 49% last year. Meantime, as many as 23% of Americans plan to stay with family or friends. For the upcoming Memorial Day holiday, AAA expects more than 80% of vacationers will travel by car. And why not? Though gas prices are up 40% from the start of the year, a gallon of gas is averaging just $2.25, down $1.50 from a year ago. Even airfares are becoming more affordable. The average domestic fare now $299, down 17% from last year.
Everything is on sale, from airfare to hotels, resorts, cruises.
According to travel officer Genevieve Shaw Brown, for those that can afford it, there's never been a better time to travel.
Some of the best deals are on domestic travel, places like Las Vegas, where room rates are down 30% year over year. Even places like New York City.
Still, all these deals are costing the travel industry. At the Alden Beach Resort at St. Pete's Beach, Florida, room rates are 15 to 20% lower than last year.
The economy's got to turn around for our business to come back.